The galaxy was not silent. It had never been silent. Across the stars, ships moved like insects, empires argued over borders, and thousands of alien races fought small wars in the name of pride and power. But now something heavier than silence had fallen. It was fear. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, leaders of the strongest empires gathered. Some came in towering armored forms, their eyes glowing like fire. Others floated translucent like ghosts. Some were small and fragile, wrapped in robes to hide their weakness. But all of them shared the same expression: unease. The chamber was lit by a cold blue glow. The air carried the faint hum of translation devices. Every leader waited, not speaking because none wished to begin. Finally, a voice broke through the tension. It was low, rough, and trembling. "I have seen it," said the Zareth envoy, his scaled fingers shaking as he lifted a data crystal. "The humans. They have built something that should not exist." The crystal flickered to life, projecting the broken remains of warships. They drifted in silence, massive hulls torn apart as if by invisible claws. Some were split down the middle, others burned into black shells. The council leaned forward. Many had seen war. Many had lost fleets. But this was different. The envoy's voice cracked. It was not a fleet that destroyed them. It was one ship, a single human vessel. A ripple of disbelief passed through the chamber. Laughter came from one corner, sharp and mocking. A hulking warrior from the Trath Dominion slammed his fist on the table. Lies. No single ship could cut through a Dominion fleet. Do not insult us with this coward story. But the Zareth envoy's eyes blazed with terror. I was there, I saw it. It glowed with purple fire at its heart. Its weapons shattered our cruisers like glass. Our strongest missiles vanished against its armor. I barely escaped with my life. You call me a coward, but I call you blind. Silence returned. A small alien, insect-like with thin glass wings, whispered to no one in particular. The humans. What are they planning? The question hung in the air. The council chamber filled with voices all at once. Some demanded evidence. Others demanded war. A few urged caution. But beneath all their words was the same undercurrent: fear of the unknown. The humans had always been strange. Compared to ancient species that had ruled the stars for thousands of years, humanity was young. Too young. They had no empire stretching across galaxies, no armies that spanned generations. Yet in every war, humans had survived. They adapted, they learned, and they endured, and now they had built something new. Something too powerful. An elder from the Zareth collective rose slowly. Her voice was soft, but it carried the weight of centuries. Do you not understand? This is no ordinary weapon. This is a warship of survival. Humanity has always feared extinction. Every invention, every weapon, every step into space, they were never made for glory. They were made so they would not die. The council fell quiet. Her words were heavy and they felt true. Another hologram flickered above the chamber. This one showed a shadow. A massive ship, longer than cities, drifting through the void. Lights pulsed across its black hull like veins of fire. At its center, a core of glowing purple energy churned like a living storm. Some alien leaders turned away, unable to look at it. Others stared with wide, horrified eyes. This ship, the elder continued, is the answer humanity gave to the galaxy. A single vessel that can turn armies into dust. A creation that cannot be matched. And if we allow it to exist, no world will feel safe again. The Trath warrior growled. Then we destroy it. Before it destroys us, but a sharp voice cut through. A tall, crystalline being from the Loran Alliance spoke, its voice ringing like glass. You fool. Do you not see the danger? If the humans built this once, they can build it again. Even if we destroy the ship, the knowledge remains. What then, do we strike at Earth itself? Do we risk a war with a species that refuses to die? The council trembled with the weight of that question. For a long time, no one spoke. The hologram of the human warship continued to glow, filling the silence. The faint hum of its purple core seemed almost alive, as though the image itself breathed with menace. Finally, the Zareth envoy whispered words that chilled the chamber. We called it a planet breaker, but it is worse. It is not only a weapon of destruction, it is a message. The humans are telling us we will survive, no matter the cost. The chamber filled with whispers, whispers of fear, whispers of doubt, whispers of war. Some demanded immediate action, others urged diplomacy, but none denied the truth anymore. The human warship was real, and it was too strong. As the council argued across the stars, the ship itself drifted silently. It moved with slow, unstoppable grace like a predator in the dark. Its engines glowed faintly, leaving trails of light that faded into the void. No crew was visible, no voice was heard, but the power it carried spread across the galaxy like a storm. And every world, from the smallest moon to the richest empire, asked the same question in terror. What will humanity do with a warship like this? The council had no answer, but one truth was clear. The galaxy had begun to fear its very existence. The whispers of fear reached every corner of the galaxy, but on Earth, the truth was different. Humanity did not see themselves as rulers or conquerors. They had been the hunted for too long. For centuries, alien empires treated Earth as an afterthought, sometimes a trading partner, sometimes a battlefield, sometimes prey. Humanity had endured invasions, blockades, and betrayals. Each time they had survived, but survival was never enough. The warship was born not from arrogance, but from desperation. In a hidden shipyard orbiting the dark side of Saturn, engineers worked in silence. The massive structure was cloaked, invisible to alien sensors, powered by stolen technology and human ingenuity. Thousands of workers, scientists, and soldiers lived in secrecy, cut off from the rest of Earth. They called the project Aegis Eternal. Every day, sparks rained across the hollow interior of the shipyard. Gigantic cranes moved slabs of black alloy into place. Welding arcs lit up the darkness. The warship took shape slowly, like a giant awakening from stone. Its size was beyond imagination, longer than a continent, wide enough to hold smaller fleets inside its hull. But its size was not what made it terrifying. At the heart of the ship, deep within layers of armor, pulsed the core, a reactor unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was not fueled by fusion, nor antimatter, but by something far older. Humanity had unearthed a fragment of dark matter technology left behind by an unknown ancient race. Where others had failed to harness it, humans had succeeded. The reactor breathed like a living thing. Its energy flowed through the ship like blood through veins, glowing in shades of deep purple and violent blue. Scientists whispered that it was alive, that the ship itself listened. Soldiers who walked near the core claimed they felt it watching them, but no one dared shut it down. Without it, humanity was weak. With it, they could never again be prey. Admiral Kalin, the man chosen to command the vessel, often walked the decks during construction. He was not young, his hair streaked with silver, his body carrying the weight of wars fought and nearly lost. He had seen human fleets burn. He had seen soldiers fighting with nothing but knives when their weapons failed. He had buried too many under alien suns. He swore this ship would end that cycle. "This is not a weapon," he said once to the chief engineer, a woman named Dr. Lyra Voss. "This is our shield. The galaxy will never care for us. They will never save us.
So we build what they fear.
We build what ensures our survival." Dr. Voss nodded, but in her eyes there was something more than duty. There was doubt. "And if survival demands we become the monster they fear most?" Kalin gave no answer. Weeks turned into months, months into years. Slowly, the warship came alive. Thousands of compartments lit up with the first flow of energy. Weapons were mounted, rail cannons the size of mountains, missile silos holding payloads strong enough to split moons, energy beams that could burn through planets. And yet the ship was more than firepower. It was designed to adapt. Its armor shifted and rebuilt itself under attack. Its systems learned from every battle. It was not only strong, it was intelligent. The first test came in silence. In the emptiness near Saturn, the ship powered its engines. The void shook. Energy waves rippled outward, disturbing even the rings of the planet. Observers watched with awe as the colossal vessel moved forward, smooth and silent despite its unimaginable size. On Earth, leaders received the report. Many were proud, some were afraid. A few demanded it be dismantled before it was too late. But the decision had already been made. The warship would rise. Still, the question remained, why build such a monster? Why pour every resource into a ship so dangerous? The answer was whispered among those who worked closest to the core. Humanity had intercepted signals, strange ancient signals far beyond the borders of known space. They spoke of a coming storm, of something vast that consumed galaxies. Humanity alone seemed to believe the threat was real, and so they prepared. But to the galaxy outside, the truth was hidden. All they saw was a weapon too powerful, a warship too dangerous, a creation too unnatural. Rumors spread faster than light. Spies returned with fragments of information, each more terrifying than the last. The council debated endlessly, but the humans did not answer their calls. They did not explain. They did not justify. The warship remained cloaked in silence, its glowing core the only sign of life. One night, as Dr. Voss walked the observation deck, she saw the purple light of the core flicker against the blackness of space. For a moment, she thought she heard a sound, not mechanical, not human, but something like a heartbeat. She whispered to herself, "What have we created?" The ship gave no answer. It did not need to, because across the stars, in worlds that had never known fear, the whispers had already begun. The galaxy spoke of a human warship too strong, too unnatural, too dangerous to exist. And though no alien had yet seen it in full power, every empire already knew one truth. When it rose from the shadows, the galaxy would tremble. The whispers of the council turned into action. Fear alone was dangerous, but fear mixed with pride was deadly. Alien empires that had ruled the stars for thousands of years could not accept the idea of a single young race building something beyond their control. So they united. Across star systems, fleets were called. War banners rose. Old enemies set aside grudges to face the common threat. Soon an alliance fleet took shape, a massive armada made of dozens of species, thousands of warships and weapons designed to burn planets. In the chamber of the Galactic Council, the final order was given. The human warship cannot be allowed to live. Destroy it before it is launched. The galaxy believed the humans were reckless children. They thought Earth could not resist such power. They believed their fleets would erase the warship before it could ever leave the shipyard. They were wrong. Far away, hidden near Saturn's shadow, the warship stirred. Admiral Kalen stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the darkness beyond the viewport. Around him, officers moved quietly, their faces pale but steady. Everyone knew what was coming. Humanity's spies had warned them. The galaxy had chosen war. Kalen spoke with a voice like iron. They come because they fear us, but they will learn today that fear is not enough. Outside, space shifted. The first alien fleet arrived. Dozens of cruisers, their hulls sharp as blades, glowing with energy. More followed. Massive carriers, fortress ships, swarms of smaller fighters. Soon the void around Saturn was filled with light, as if the stars themselves had gathered to crush Earth. On the bridge, tension grew. The crew whispered among themselves. Could one ship stand against thousands? The warship answered before Kalen did. With a deep vibration that shook even the bones of those inside, its core came alive. The purple glow expanded, flooding through veins of steel and light. Weapons powered up. Armor shifted into place. The ship no longer looked like a vessel. It looked like a beast rising from its slumber. The alien commanders gave the order. Attack! The first wave struck. Missiles streaked through space, leaving fiery trails. Beams of energy tore across the darkness, hammering against the warship's hull. Explosions blossomed around it, waves of light brighter than suns. But when the glare faded, the human ship remained untouched. The hull had absorbed the blasts. The armor shimmered, reformed, and stood strong. To the watching fleets, it was like striking a mountain with pebbles. Then the warship answered. Its cannons roared. Massive rail slugs ripped through enemy cruisers, tearing them apart in a single shot. Energy beams swept across the battlefield, slicing through carriers like paper. Dozens of alien ships vanished in seconds, reduced to glowing wreckage. The warship moved with impossible speed. Despite its size, it turned smoothly, outmaneuvering fleets that thought themselves swift. Wherever it turned, destruction followed. On the bridge of an alien dreadnought, a general watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. He had believed this mission would be quick, a simple lesson to a young race. Instead, his ships died faster than he could count. His voice broke as he gave the retreat order. Fall back! Fall back! But it was too late. The warship unleashed its core weapon. From its heart, a surge of purple fire erupted. A wave of dark energy expanded outward, swallowing fighters, cruisers, and even capital ships. They did not explode. They simply broke apart, as if the universe itself had rejected their existence. When the wave faded, nothing remained but debris. On Earth, the people watched through secret transmissions. Families sat in silence as the battle unfolded. Some wept in relief, others in terror. They had wanted safety, but what they saw was more than safety. It was power that could shake the galaxy. Dr. Voss, watching from the engineering deck, whispered the same words again. What have we created? The crew gave no cheers. There was no celebration. They knew what this meant. The galaxy would never forgive them now. Survivors fled. Alien ships limped away, carrying tales of horror back to their empires. They spoke of a human warship that could not be touched, that moved like a predator, that destroyed fleets without mercy. They spoke of a weapon too strong to exist. In the Galactic Council, panic spread. Some demanded more fleets, others called for surrender. But beneath all the arguments, one truth burned. The humans had shown their power. And it was only the beginning. Admiral Kalen stood at the center of the bridge. His voice was quiet, but every officer heard it. They thought we were weak. They thought we would break. Now they know. Humanity will not die. Not today. Not ever. The warship drifted forward into the void, its purple glow burning brighter than the stars. And across the galaxy, in the hearts of empires that had ruled for ages, a new fear was born. It was no longer the whisper of fear. It was the roar of survival. The galaxy believed it had seen everything. It had seen empires rise, fall, and rise again. It had seen stars broken, planets burned, and species erased from memory, yet nothing compared to the human warship. And still they did not know the truth. They thought it was a weapon of pride. They thought it was built to conquer. They thought humans, young and reckless, had created a nightmare to frighten the old rulers of the stars. But the truth was darker and older. Inside the warship, deep in its hidden chambers, secrets were locked away. Most of the crew did not know them. Even many of the officers had only guesses. Only a few. The highest engineers, the admirals, and Earth's leaders knew what lay beneath the armor and weapons. Dr. Lyra Voss was one of them. She had been there from the beginning, when strange signals first reached Earth's observatories. They were faint, buried in the noise of space, but once decoded, they revealed something chilling. A warning. It was not from humans. It was not from any known species. It was from voices long dead, an ancient race that had vanished ages before the galaxy's current rulers took power. Their message was fragmented, broken, but one part was clear. It comes. It devours. Prepare. For years, humanity searched for the source. Probes were sent. Expeditions vanished. Pieces of information trickled back, speaking of entire regions of space left empty, as if swallowed by a great shadow. The warship was not born from ambition. It was born from fear of what lay beyond. Admiral Kalen stood in the core chamber, staring at the pulsating light. It glowed brighter now, as if responding to his thoughts. He felt the weight of the secret pressing on him. To the galaxy, he was the man who commanded the ultimate weapon, but in truth, he was the man chosen to lead humanity's last chance at survival. Dr. Voss entered quietly. She carried a data tablet filled with new readings. Her face was pale. The signals are clearer now, she said softly. The shadow is moving, faster than before. In 50 years, maybe less, it will reach this galaxy. Kalen did not look at her. His eyes stayed fixed on the glow. And when it does, no fleet will stop it. Not theirs, not ours. Only this. She hesitated, her voice trembling. We built this ship to protect. But what happens if it becomes the very thing we fear? Look at it, Admiral. Sometimes I wonder if the core listens to us or to something else. Kalen finally turned to her. His expression was carved from stone. It does not matter. Fear is the price of survival. The galaxy thinks we built this ship for power. Let them believe it. When the shadow comes, they will understand. But the galaxy did not know. They only saw destruction. Survivors of the Alliance fleet carried their stories home, and those stories grew into nightmares. Entire planets whispered about the human weapon that could not be touched. Some called it cursed, others divine. The Galactic Council could not agree whether to attack again or to surrender before it. And through it all, humanity said nothing. They revealed nothing. One night in the warship's observation deck, a young officer named Alara stood alone. She was one of the few who knew fragments of the truth. She had read the old signals, the warnings from beyond. She stared into the dark stars and whispered to herself, "We are not ready." As if in answer, the core pulsed. For a moment, the glass before her reflected not her face but a shadow stretching across the stars. She gasped and stumbled back, but when she looked again, there was nothing, only the cold void of space. Had it been her imagination? Or had the ship shown her something? Meanwhile, on distant worlds, alien leaders grew restless. Some demanded the humans be destroyed at once before their creation spread further. Others urged caution, warning that any strike might bring doom to their fleets again. The council was paralyzed by division. One voice, though, rang louder than the rest. Elder Sarah of the Sarith Collective, who had spoken before of humanity's survival, stood once more. "You do not understand," she said. "You think this ship is about power. But humans, they are not like us. They do not fight for empires. They fight for tomorrow. If they built this monster, it is because something worse is coming. Ask yourselves, what are they preparing for?" Her words chilled the chamber, but no one answered. Back on the warship, Dr. Voss stood before the core once again. She placed her hand on the glass, feeling its strange warmth. For the first time, she allowed herself to whisper the fear she had buried deep inside. "What if we are not building a shield?" she murmured. "What if we are building the very thing the shadow wants us to unleash?" The core pulsed again like a heartbeat, and for the first time she felt it whisper back. The galaxy believed it feared humanity, but the truth was far greater. Humanity itself feared what was coming. The warship was not only a weapon, it was a secret, a warning, and in the silence of space the shadow drew closer. The galaxy had always believed itself eternal. Empires rose and fell, but the council, the fleets, the endless cycles of war and diplomacy, they were constants. Nothing young, nothing fragile, nothing human could change that. But the warship had already changed everything. The survivors of the failed strike returned home, broken and terrified. They spoke of weapons no shield could block, of energy waves that erased fleets in seconds, of armor that rebuilt itself under fire. Their voices shook as they told their people, "The humans have built a ship that should not exist." Whispers turned to storms. Fear spread faster than light. On worlds across the stars, children woke from nightmares of a black warship with glowing veins of fire. Whole colonies debated whether to surrender before it even arrived, yet in some corners voices began to shift. If humanity had built such a thing, maybe it was not out of arrogance. Maybe it was necessity. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos ruled. Some demanded a second attack, convinced numbers would prevail if only they tried harder. Others shouted for peace, warning that more battles would only bring ruin. But the oldest voices, those who had seen countless wars, fell silent. Elder Sarah of the Sarith Collective rose again. Her frail body shook, but her eyes burned with clarity. "You are all blind," she said, her voice steady. "You believe the humans built this ship to dominate. But listen to what you have heard. They never attacked first. They defended. They survived. And in their silence lies a truth you refuse to face." The council chamber grew still. Sarah continued, "If the humans created such a weapon, it is not because of us. It is because something else is coming. Something even they fear." Her words sank into the silence like stones into deep water. For the first time, the council looked at each other and saw not rivals but fellow creatures staring into the same abyss. Meanwhile, aboard the warship, Admiral Kalen stood at the command deck. His officers waited for orders, but no battle loomed that day. Instead, Kalen looked at the stars. He had fought aliens his whole life. He had lost comrades, worlds, and entire fleets. But as he looked at the endless dark, he knew the coming war would not be against the galaxy. It would be against something beyond imagination. Dr. Voss joined him, her face lined with sleepless nights. "The signals are growing clearer," she said. "The shadow is moving faster. It may arrive sooner than we thought." Kalen did not flinch. "Then we are ready." She gave him a long look. "Are we? Or are we only delaying the inevitable?" The core pulsed beneath their feet, glowing brighter as if it had heard. Back in the council chamber, debates dragged on for days. Some leaders still demanded humanity be destroyed, fearing what would happen if Earth unleashed more warships. Others argued for alliance, insisting the humans might be the only hope. Finally, a decision was made. A small delegation would approach Earth, not with weapons, but with words. They would not beg, not yet, but they would ask. The delegation arrived in orbit above Saturn, where the warship floated like a shadow given life. It dwarfed their cruisers, its purple glow casting eerie light across their hulls. Many of the alien envoys trembled as they approached the docking bay. Inside, they were brought before Admiral Kalen. The humans did not bow, did not smile. They simply listened. The alien envoy spoke, his voice shaking. "We came to destroy you. We failed, we feared you. We still fear you, but if Elder Sarah speaks truth, then you built this ship not to rule us, but to protect us. Tell us, Admiral. Tell us what you fight." For a moment, Kalen said nothing. His eyes were heavy, his face hard as iron. Then slowly he answered, "We built this warship because something is coming. Something older than your empires, older than our history. We do not know its name. We call it the Shadow. It devours. And when it arrives, no council, no fleet, no world will stand against it." The envoy's voice dropped to a whisper. "And you think this ship will stop it?" Kalen did not smile. "No, this ship may not stop it, but it will give us a chance. Humanity refuses to die quietly. If you wish to live, then stand with us. If not, then stand aside. But do not think you can stop us. We are past that." The chamber filled with silence. For the first time, aliens looked at a human and did not see prey, did not see rivals. They saw a survivor carrying fire into the dark. Word of this meeting spread. Across the galaxy, fear slowly shifted into something else. Not trust, not yet, but respect. Children who once whispered of nightmares now spoke of the human warship as a protector. Soldiers who cursed its name admitted in quiet moments that if the Shadow was real, they would want the humans at their side. Even some rulers who had once demanded Earth's destruction now reconsidered, their pride bending before survival. The warship, once hated, now became something more. A symbol, a warning, a hope. On its final night before departure, the warship powered its engines. Its glow lit up Saturn's rings, painting them in violet fire. People on Earth looked to the skies and saw the faint shimmer, knowing their future had left them to walk into the dark. On the bridge, Kalen gave the order. "Set course, beyond the frontier." The ship moved, slow but unstoppable, vanishing into hyperspace, and across the galaxy, every world held its breath. Because if humanity, who had always survived, feared what was coming, then perhaps no one was safe. But for the first time, the galaxy whispered not only in fear, they whispered in respect.